Good evening, SpeedGaming 2, and welcome to the suffering of Potato Pony and Cantaloupe in the Zelda 1 Randomizer group stages of the tournament. I'm Furious K alongside Norestra. Norestra, this I think is the first time that we've seen both of these runners in this tournament, so they should have a couple more matches. What are you looking forward to as they get their first seed underway?
I'm looking very much to seeing the new flags that have been added in here with the cave being blocked by some item.
Yep, it'll be the ladder, recorder, power bracelet, or raft that ends up blocking the runners from a white sword cave or potentially one of the dungeons. We'll find out which that is and how trolly it ends up being, because it can be more than just one.
No, absolutely, and the game knows no mercy.
It looks like we're underway. Probably going to have at least one glance at the ladder item from Potato Pony, while Cantaloupeme is going to go for cave density towards start.
And both of them are going to discover that there's a million projectiles on the overworld.
I'll see if Potato Pony goes back the same direction or if the boomerangs discourage him. It looks like going back the other way. Also Wizard Beam, so not so mean in the dungeons, but man, the overworld's going to be fun to progress through.
Yeah, we've got Wizard Beams, bananas, Octoroks. I'm sure something else that throws stuff here in a minute that we'll find.
Yeah, I haven't seen
prize though. 7 rupee bombs.
Yeah, I haven't seen one of the secondary enemies hit the overworld, so it looks like just the Moblin and the Lionels appear to be going down to the dungeons. Might be a secondary one, depends on if we see Tektites over on the overworld or not. So, two different directions you can go. One's towards the density of Armos, which is where Potato Pony's going, and Cantaloupe's just going for a straight open cave routing. And looks like neither one's found our Armos item just yet, so it's either going to be in the forest here or in the grave. It looks like we do have ropes on the overworld, super snakes, and a white sword is our Armos item, so that's actually great to find before you find the wood sword cave. I think Potato Pony can now freely grab that blue candle once he finds that cave.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the Armos item is one of those early finds you want to get, and you want to find some sort of weapon. You hate to find something like the power bracelet in this situation. You can start exploring, you can start making decisions. Plus, with the way the blocks work, you know that the wood sword cave is not blocked behind that particular item anymore.
It looks like just a heart on the coast, not likely to be super relevant as the white sword's already going to be in the hands of both runners here within not too long a time. I think Cantaloupeme will eventually find his way over to the Armos screen. So, don't really need to find enough hearts for the magical sword to have your good combat, as level 9 is just in the forest open cave, so not too trolly a 9 location.
Yeah, not too trolly, and that being the first dungeon either one of our runners have seen, so we're still looking for something to do now. We've got a weapon, and we need somewhere to go. Potato Pony deciding that 4-pack of Wizards is not necessarily the way to go.
Thankfully, on the start screen this time, you have 3 directions that you can choose to go. You kind of go up as opposed to going across through the vanilla start power bracelet screen. Go into that forest, or you can go towards the coast. So multiple ways so that you don't have to get forced into a Wizrobe screen. As we find level 1, looked like it was up in the 100 secret spot, if I saw it correctly.
That is correct, and just below it, the 100 secret, which with this being second quest, mixed overworld, there will only be one large secret, and it was 113 rupees. So Cantaloupe getting a decent level to find early, and a reward of some money.
Doesn't look like you can get too terribly far on level 1 at this point, though, so we'll have to keep that in the back pocket, and we'll try and find some stuff to get through that dungeon with. We're now back to overworld exploration. As far as the secrets go, the easy way to remember it is the medium secrets stay the same between first and second quest money. The only thing that changes is you take 2 of the large secrets and convert them to small secrets. So instead of 4 small, you have 6. Instead of 3 large, you have 1.
Yeah, and if I'm in Cantaloupe's situation here, I definitely, if I stumble into that 80 rupee candle, I'm probably buying it. Just makes sense, even with the low money opportunities, with that reduction of 2 large secrets. Still having the candle, just it's a combat option, it's a exploration item. It gives you some options to work with while you're still looking for stuff on the overworld.
Looks like Cantaloupe is going to go for a blue candle, so we'll probably see the white sword and then the wood sword cave shortly thereafter, and be a little bit sad that he had to grab the candle there. But again, once you have white sword, I think with a vanilla expert in Cantaloupe having a white sword in his hands, I think that's enough to get through most situations fairly easily, so not too big of a loss.
And there's our magical sword hanging out in the waterfall.
Yep, if there's a dungeon up here or on the river road across the latter spots, perhaps we will see a runner go through and try and pick that up at some point, but I think, again, white sword is probably good enough for these two. Typically saving the bombs, probably going to bomb most of this southern coast and see if there's any dungeons down here. May opt into a reset to reload those bombs. I think I would clear all 3 spots, though, before doing so.
No, absolutely. Clear. I might even clear a 4th spot before I reset, just to get them off the board. And, also any potential money loss, or useless caves, get them marked and move on.
Yep, and the upside to retrying, which is what's going to happen now, is we're back to a 0 count on our bomb counter, so the next enemy you hit, if it's a bomb dropper, has a decent chance of dropping a bomb for you. Now, that dead end in the dead woods is going to be a little bit of an issue to get to. Going to have to keep resetting that screen to get the blue wizrobes away from that southwestern route so that you can kind of get in there. Either that or we're going to need some defense.
Yeah, they're just not going to have it today. Potato Panic is going to stumble on level 1 here in a second. We'll have something Cantaloupe didn't have. Bombs and a white sword. Cantaloupe still hasn't discovered it, very close to it, but we'll see if we can get some progress in this level 1 now.
Looks like neither runner's going to be able to take advantage of that wood sword candle, which is
But
fine.
at this point, that's the right decision. Get the candle. Just no longer worry about that particular cave.
We see the prescription paper is in the burn bush between the two Armos screens. Should see just about every runner pick that up when they stumble across it. With second quest being on, red bubbles are on, and red bubbles take away your sword, so having a potion that you can purchase is a pretty big thing.
Yeah, and I'm not sure there's anybody... Oh, that is a nasty level 2 screen. I'm not sure there's anybody who actually enjoys red bubbles.
It looks like we don't have... Well, I mean, we haven't seen bombs. I haven't seen a potato pony bomb a wall yet, but we at least have a key door in our way. Alright, so no pirouette, no bomb wall to the right. That looks
Nothing
to
going
be
to
all.
level 1. Yeah. Alright, and Cantaloupeme has found level 7, everyone's favorite, well, we'll call it a dungeon.
Yep, he loved it so much, he just said nope. The whole stream said nope to him as well, so hopefully we'll get him back here shortly.
I mean, that's the correct thing to do when you walk into level 7. Turn it off and leave.
Yeah, it looks like we didn't get to see him leave, but that seems to be the end result. Also, that blue wizard screen is going to be a fun time to use a candle on.
Yeah, this overworld's got some bite to it. Yeah, there have definitely been worse overworlds to deal with in previous tournaments, and probably even in this one. But lots of just single heart damage from these gorillas. Just lots of ways to lose hearts fast.
Looks like level 8's going to be the same color as level 7, and it's fairly close to the start screen. I think I would just get off the overworld at this point and dig this, no matter how big it is.
Yeah, we know level 1's key blocked. We've seen level 7 for all of 2 seconds, and, well, the game's just not going to have it tonight.
Should see a pirouette trick here from Cal. Well, no, I guess he's just going to keep on looking, maybe looking for a smaller dungeon again.
Potato's
Potato
going to
Pony.
find the same wonderful dungeon and is going to pirouette. Ah, yes. Dark Nuts.
How about Dark Nuts in a BMOS room?
It's everyone's favorite.
Speaking of favorites, level 6 has been found. Another one of the larger dungeons. And actually, since the new update where 7, 8, 9 share a grid, I've seen 6 not be the largest dungeon on the field nearly as often as it was before, just because 7 and 8 have been stealing some of the rooms out of 9.
I'm completely okay with this.
That being said, I think we saw a 41 room level 6 last night in one of the races, so it's still possible.
looks like red almost rolled roughly vanilla. They may be -1, but we'll take that.
Great part about the sword beams is you don't have to get right up close and personal with the blue dark nuts. You can beam them from far away and gives you a little bit of safety. We'll see which way Potato Pony opts to go. He's already gone right through the other room that he had access to earlier, so looks like left or just bombing away instead is the proper thing to do.
Absolutely, and level 6 is giving Cantaloupeme the runaround right now. Would you like a ladder? I think you need a ladder.
I think there's not much of a lead to speak of at all, but it's the big lead here actually will maybe be in Potato Pony's favor just because of the key count, although Cantaloupe just found one as well, because I see Potato grab the key out of level 8 and is heading back to the northeast corner, maybe trying to get into level 1 through that key door.
Yeah, this is one of those plays. I don't hate it. The catch is that if you go into level 1 and the next room's a key door, it's gonna be a rough night.
I never really feel safe in the one-on-one key, though. I always feel like if you have one key going in there, you're going to open one door, and then 3 more key doors are going to be behind that key door.
Oh, absolutely. Level 1's a jerk.
Fortunately for Potato Pony, this time there's a key in the next room and a shutter door, so it's not as big of an issue this time for him. Should be able to get a little bit further in here, maybe find an item.
Meanwhile, level 6 continues to ask Cantaloupeme if you got the ladder yet?
Looks like we have a fairly small level 1, looks to be only 14 rooms and all in one segment, so not too trolly, and it's not super linear either, just a handful of little 1 and 2 room offshoots, so shouldn't have too many key door problems either.
No, definitely. Biggest problem here is that you're going to want to dig out both items and not come back here. Cantaloupe's going to pick up the triforce out of 6, give up on looking for the item, maybe, I'm not sure, and move on.
You have 1 room down south with a key door, and you have 2 beyond the shutter to the right, and now you have enough health to kind of clear this room. So I think the correct play is the play being made, going to try and make it right through the shutter door.
Absolutely. It does look like Cantaloupe's going to take that triforce, take that key, and make the same play up into level 1 here.
With second quest staircases on, it looks like Potato Pony may have found our staircase item. We'll see if it's just a bit of a troll or if it happens to be a push block. And it is, so we'll get our first staircase item of the seed.
Some buttery croissant action there. So we find the power bracelet.
That may be the overworld exploration item we are looking for, or it may not. This red bubble room is worthless since it's got the trap room set up, and we've already found the staircase. We know it has nothing.
Now, I don't hate finding the power bracelet early. I agree with this play here. You're going to have to clear rooms to get the last item out of 1. grab the triforce, come back in, clear the final rooms, and then routing will give you access to more area.
Caleb finds the heart container on the ground. We know that that is not the floor drop item because of the coast heart being, well, the coast heart. If Caleb decides to explore the western side of this dungeon through the key door that we're looking at on Potato Pony's screen right now, we'll be able to come back and get into that bottom room with a Kananaki trick. Since the combat in there isn't too terrible, you can kill most of the Tektites off and have an easier time maneuvering Gibdo to come towards the door and kill it off and get through there. Basically, that trick works because you can lose a bit of the contain on the door once a shutter door opens in the room or a bomb wall opens in the room, so you can sneak through the key door before it realizes, and if you get past the point of no return, it won't be able to stop you.
Big thing, if you can key, make sure you go back through the door so that you don't have to use a key later. But yeah, Potato getting it handed to him with the wall master sent back to start. Have to take this room on again.
Yeah, we'll take him to 6 hearts, which will be enough to get the white sword item if and when we find it.
If he doesn't get poked by Lionel there, he gets it and gets out barely.
Looks like Calipme's found the direction he wants to take through this dungeon. It looks like there's only going to be one room that he can't get into without Kananakiing, as the rest of this northwest segment has opened up through just one key door. And we have the bow.
There's an item for you.
So with that, Calipme has heart container, bow, and power bracelet out of level 1. That's all the items and the floor heart. Nothing left to do but to head to another location.
Potato finds that room, but finds the Lionels. And they start singing him a lullaby.
What's kind of unfortunate about the sea is it looks like the door repair happened to roll up towards the maximum, if not the maximum. I didn't see if it was 24 or 25, but when you don't have that many large secrets at your disposal, or medium secrets at your disposal either, not great seeing it roll max.
No. Good thing, though, is our runners did manage to get the candle for free. We found bow. So really the only purchase you got to consider is bait and possibly arrows, depending on how the items play. So it's not horrible unless you're hoping for a blue ring. And with bombs being 7 rupees, I mean, let's hope you don't have to buy a lot of them, but you can buy them.
Blue Lionel's not really cooperating with the spawn for Potato Ponies, getting the spawn where they kind of just go everywhere instead of the pairing up on the left side spawn. Hopefully it works out for them here shortly so they can get through that room, because that will finish off level 1 once that happens. It looks like Calipme is going to make it through this really deadly Wizroom screen and into the southwest corner. So we'll see if there's anything stuck behind that combat block.
Just a pity heart, which I cannot blame anyone for taking that with the amount of Wizrobes we've seen around.
Looks like a slightly friendlier start to the spawn pattern in this room for Potato Pony. Should have a decent chance this time of getting through it. And there's the bow.
So in the scope of things, not too much damage done. Maybe a little bit of frustration from the combat in there, but no harm, no foul really yet as far as exploration advantage to Cantaloupe from that.
It's a pretty difficult room to use the half tiles, as it was noted in chat. It does a real good job of kind of finding the way to the half tiles and using that to his advantage to make sure that the Lionel beams didn't catch him. So what I kind of expect both runners to do now is prioritize areas of the map that have power bracelet spots to open. You obviously open every cave that you can along the way, as Cantaloupeme does find a cave with the wooden arrows and purchases them. But just sticking to the power bracelet and seeing if you can find that dungeon that's blocked by one of those progression items gives you kind of a comfort if you happen to find the silvers fairly quickly thereafter and the ladder, that you can kind of just go mode things and not have to worry so much about finding that one or more dungeons that are blocked.
No, absolutely. The recorder's still on your mind, but it's not as concerning.
Cantaloupeme does take a Wizrobe Beam on this screen, but one Wizrobe Beam with 6 hearts is not a huge deal.
Potato's going to stumble into level 6. We'll see if we get a little bit more. I believe we were pretty ladder blocked in here when Cantaloupeme took an adventure into the depths of this fuchsia dungeon.
I thought we couldn't get much brighter than the Fuchsia Dungeon, but it appears we have, as Cantaloupeme has found level 2. An early map, and once again, not too big of a level 2, so we may be looking at a slightly above average size for level 6, if and when we find the map for it.
Yeah, that's not a bad price for the bomb upgrade. Obviously, our runners, Potato has the money for it. Might want to save for Blue Ring here. Not sure, planning wise how they want to handle that. The bomb upgrade's always nice. Gives you, a couple extra combat choices, a couple extra bomb walls. Can really make a difference.
As ugly as the overworld is, it's not the hardest overworld to farm money with. Do have the ropes, the super ropes in fact, and the levers on the overworld, so if you find back-to-back screens and kind of a pattern of 6 overworld screens, you kind of reset the combat on each screen after you hit the 6th one, so you can go in a loop of sorts and you can farm up 30, 40, 50 rupees within 1 or 2 loops, and that would get you enough to not worry about all the cash constraints of a second quest overworld seed. It's like any key is our drop in level 2. I think Caleb's plenty happy to see that, given that we've been on 0 and 1 keys on both sides for the majority of this run so far, and it's almost a half hour in.
No, definitely. Most runners will, I think a year or two ago we had a debate in the Zelda 1 Discord on which item is the best one to start with, and it was down to the wand and the any key, and definitely the any key is my favorite item.
I mean, some of us could make a case for just starting with the bow instead, but I'm sure any key or red ring, I think, was one of the popular ones as well.
Red ring definitely is always great to have, but being able to freely explore without losing your mind is fantastic.
Looks like we do have a couple of keys on Potato Pony's side. I think what Cantaloupe did not do is I don't think he opened all of the potential key door routes. I think he wanted to save his key for level 1. So we'll see if Potato Pony decides to burn a key to look for a staircase item. As noted, the bomb upgrade was +5, so it's a pretty good deal for this seed. As level 6's Triforce is picked up by Potato Pony, we'll see if that is all for level 6, or if we're going to go back in and kind of explore some of these key doors. And it looks like Cantaloupeme has found the final of the Take Any One caves. It's in Death Mountain. The other 3 were kind of closer to our starting area. So
yeah,
both runners
all up on that upper east coast.
At the downside of taking a heart in that event is now we are reliant on having enough money to buy a potion to get through some of these weird room setups where you get all the red bubbles and you don't get any blues, especially in level 9 when you need your sword at the end of it all.
Yeah, and I don't know that... I'm pretty sure Potato has not found the letter, and I don't believe Cantaloupeme has stumbled into a potion shop and actually used the letter yet, so we really don't know where we're at. But we do have any roads. We're not going to take them yet, but we've got them. They're all going to be up to Death Mountain, right?
Well, he's going to be pushed back into this one. Wizard was trying to get him to show us where they all go, but it looks like the chances of them being in places not Death Mountain are basically stuck to, what, Flute, Raft, and Power Bracelet spots.
Pretty much. At this point, Fury, we've seen a good chunk of the overworld. Are you starting to get nervous that recorder may or may not be, a thing now?
Yes and no. I mean, I don't know exactly what the block was at level 7 or if it was just a hard nope. But as long as we aren't getting absolutely hard blocked out of every dungeon, you get a little bit nervous. If you run into a lot of roadblocks in dungeons that you can't progress through, then you gotta know that there's at least one more dungeon out there. In this case, Cantaloupeme finds level 4. It is the book, which is the Atlas. I think with the white sword in hand, both runners will easily pick that up, even with the bug with the map being fixed in this most recent update.
No, absolutely. Early knowledge, being able to walk in and just progress through the dungeon, not really have to concern yourself with maps. Granted, that is a shape. That is a 4. But also with that item information, Cantaloupeme's going to just pretty much look for the Triforce and get out of dodge.
Yeah. We have that one off room. We'll see if that comes into play, or if it'll just be in another Triforce room right away. So, don't get to see a lot of this for. The only thing we're leaving behind is our container.
Let's see if we get our first real good look at 7. I believe there was some ladder shenanigans. May have been a key block. We'll see what Potato can do in here.
Looks like an instant staircase, so see if that's the item or if it's just a transport. It is the item, and it's silver, so had we progressed just a little bit on Cantaloupeme's side, we would not have had to purchase our wood arrows. Don't think it's going to come back to bite him too much, though, because he had enough money for the bomb upgrade and is already back up to 95.
And there is our third road on Death Mountain. And the 4th.
Yeah, kind of to expectation there, given what we saw of the rest of the overworld. But you hate to see it in a Wizrobe overworld, especially with the Greetus also rolling in there.
Yeah, nothing like walking along and getting bopped a couple times in the face and then show a Wizrobe up.
So Cal's going to take advantage of the cheap bait price and bomb price in this cave and take care of some more potential obstacles in the dungeon setup. Can't get trolled by a bait block in the seed.
Now, with the money situation, Cantaloupem's not going to buy a blue ring, most likely. It's not a bad choice here.
I think the only thing left to buy is potentially a potion, in my view, and we'll see if that's something that he thinks about as the seed goes along, or if he just kind of banks on there being blue bubbles in 9 in an opportune spot. I think also that Cantaloupe has explored the majority of the overworld that he can at this point, so now the question is does he go back to 7, or does he go to level 8? Or has he got maybe 1 or 2 spots that I don't know of?
Speaking of 7, that's a fantastic map.
It's not the largest 7 in the world, but it's definitely got an interesting shape to it, so it's not the easiest to kind of find your way through and progress without having a map at your disposal. You'll notice that Potato Pony didn't die on 1 heart getting spiked there, so that blue ring did save him already. You'll see how long it keeps him alive. Maybe to this Triforce. Oh, the lag almost got him with the Vire. Oof, we made it. Never even close. So, all things considered, that 7, despite its shape and early key doors, it really didn't have too much of a troll for these runners, as we finally find the wooden sword and expending a bomb just to be angry at it.
I mean, that's the appropriate thing to do at this point. You can't pick anything up. It's just annoying that you find it, you know, what are we, almost 40 minutes into the seed? Yeah, you get a bomb, old man.
I mean, we could have picked up a second blue candle for the memes, I guess, but yeah, no real benefit to anything in that cave anymore.
Until we get progressive candles or something silly like that, yeah, you leave him a bomb and run. Yeah, unless there's something we're just missing on the overworld that we didn't see, it's looking like our solution's gonna be somewhere in that level 8.
Not sure if we pushed all the power bracelet spots. I did not see if somebody pushed the second quest level 4 one. I think we had somebody walk by the normal one here to the right already.
We're definitely starting to run out of options for our runners tonight to progress without having to find another item. I don't think we saw the level 2 screen, but it was pretty disgusting.
Yep, and actually saved Cantaloupeme a bit of time because I think he tried to get up there to what is a lake that you can't really open up without a recorder, so nothing major lost there until you have that recorder.
That book and any key are going to pay dividends here in the 7, as it's going to just make life easy as we get the Troll Domino sprites.
Yep. I think that... I feel like that's something that we borrowed from, what's that Dragon Dark that had that whole setup going?
I believe so, yes.
No, we won't call it stealing, we'll call it borrowed. But in any event, yeah. The dongles are notorious for their trolling. Speaking of trolling, the old man is not blocking anything with that bomb or money, so kind of a worthless spot for him to be.
But good information to have that, you know, it is bombs or money, so you can't get the freebie with the any key. You do have to give something up if he's in your way.
Normally, this room that Cantaloupeme is in would not have a staircase, but because we have removed most open staircases on, that heart does not necessarily mean this won't push, and in fact, it is a staircase. If you have an item in the top right corner, you know that it is a staircase push block room by default. The item won't appear in that corner without there being a push block there. I think Potato Pony is going to be very happy to see the item at level 2 once he explores around this dungeon a little bit and finds it, so...
That was fairly early in here, so I want to say it's the next room.
It depends on his routing. I think it is the room that is just below the other choke point to go off into that top right area. And right above it,
That's
I think,
right.
is the Triforce, so you basically can't miss it if you clear rooms in front of the Triforce. Cantaloupeme was making me a little bit nervous because he wasn't going down immediately at this entry to level 7, because it was basically a one-room silver situation. Had he gone up, I think that's where the Triforce is.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, but no issues with the silvers, so... Now we've got to find really what's the next item that lets us go. It really is starting to look like 3 and 5 are kind of locked behind either recorder or ladder at this point.
Yep. A couple people asking around in chat. Potato Pony, I think, has been a Zelda 1 rando scene runner for about a year at this point. Maybe just a little bit more. It got involved in races within the last year for sure, so has had plenty of chances to see the ins and outs of the Zelda 1 randomizer and seen the majority of the trolls as well, so not much going to surprise Potato Pony. Cantaloupe, meanwhile, very, very, very strong vanilla runner who's also not shabby when it comes to the randomizer. Just occasional blips on kind of the random intricacies, I guess we could say, even though I can't speak some of the ins and outs of these seeds, but he has picked up on quite a few of those through some of the practice seeds, and doesn't seem like he's getting trolled at all, even by these troll doggos. So right now, not too much of a lead for either runner. I think it's actually fairly close. I think Potato Pony will find level 4, and then I think it's a situation where both have to head off to level 8 to find any progression. And I guess, in theory, Cantaloupe has a small lead and going back to level 8.
No, absolutely. It's ever so slightly small, and a left turn or a right turn, find the ladder or the recorder and bail could cost you here. So it's still anybody's race right now.
Yeah, the new 9s make any race that has like a 4 or 5 minute advantage in one's favor basically no advantage at all for the most part. There's just been so many troll 9s lately that it's almost impossible to feel comfortable with any sort of small lead once you enter there. And we don't, as runners, even know how big or small our lead is most of the time when we're in there, unless we're just jetting a seed.
I mean, even then, I don't think you're comfortable until you've done and you see your opponent's not done yet. That's the only time you really take a breath. Even when you're jetting a seed, you're like, this is too easy.
I think in this level 8 you almost have to dig both items too, because your items that are left for level 3, level 5, and level 8 are 2 progression items in the raft and recorder, kind of a semi-progression item in the ladder, and you found 1 item so far, and it's not a progression item in the red ring, but certainly nice to have. So now of your remaining items outstanding, you have basically all progression items in the White Sword Cave, I suppose, too.
Yeah, no, I think in this situation, if I stumble into the recorder and the triforce, I might get out of 8, but I'm definitely uneasy about it.
So basically we have level 3, level 5, 1 item in level 8, and the White Sword Cave 3-9. And they have to have raft, ladder, recorder, and 1 of the wand or the boomerangs. Both of them are outstanding. So that's why I think logically, even if you find, say, the recorder first, I don't think you can go without digging further, because the other item, for all you know, could be a ladder.
True. No, I don't disagree with that that assessment either, though.
I guess there's something to be said if you found, say, the raft first, and you want to go check those 2 caves to see what the payoff is immediately, to see if it's, say, a ladder or something. In that situation, it might be worthwhile, but in the recorder and or the power bracelet on the overworld spots situation, you have more of those spots available now. I think goes from like 1 to 7 or 8 on the flute spots, and likewise, you increase your power bracelet spots by 3 or 4.
Yeah, like I said, the only reason why I bail with the Triforce and the Recorder is I can quickly get back. So push comes to shove, I pull the Recorder out and immediately go back into 8. So I can go look for 3, look for 5. If I find both of those dungeons, I can at least clear them. They're smaller dungeons. They should be smaller dungeons. Get their items, and then either know for a fact, hey, I've got to go into 8 and get this last item, or no, I'm going into 9 and I'm pretty good.
Yep, in this case, level 8's only 4 screens away from your start, but yeah, I understand where you're coming from with that point.
I think a lot of it comes to also how good do you feel versus your opponent, and how do you feel the seed's going. If you feel behind, I think the gamble makes sense. If you feel ahead, clearing it out might make a bit more sense too.
Yeah, do you make that decision during the race, or you do kind of think about it before the race? Do you kind of like chart out what you're going to do based on your opponent, or do you just play every seed the same and then worry as you get to certain thresholds within the seed?
I always play my game, so I don't care who my opponent is. Now, if I find a certain item in a certain spot, I might, based on my opponent, do something slightly different. Say, if I find Red Ring buried in 8 and my opponents are really strong combat, I'm going to try to push that advantage to equalize my combat skill. Or if I find, if I'm racing a runner who, really doesn't like a dungeon, I might go dig it early. That's an interesting find here on level 8.
Yeah, that indicates to me that let's see, we found both items in 1, the item in 2, the item in 4. No item in 6, so that is the play that I guess had to be made. We just didn't consider it because of all the ladder blocks.
Absolutely. So we'll see. Cantaloupe grab the Triforce out of 8 and then head to 6. 8, obviously, with 2 items is the right play. It's not that, it makes sense. Go get the 2 items, see what happens. It's not necessarily a time loss. You still need the Triforce, you still need ladder, you still need probably recorder and or raft. So it's at least reasonable.
Yep, the question in chat was pertaining to the ropes. They're not dying on the overworld. They do die. I think they've just rolled up, and they are in fact super ropes. In second quest, they get a little bit more HP value to make it a little bit more trolly. And so I think they can roll up to what, +6 in this flag set. They can roll pretty high.
Yes. Yeah, they can, it's plus or minus 2 on the HP, if I remember correctly. And Potato is going to find level 8 to be not annoying, but the item set is going to definitely leave your head scratching for a second as you find both items.
I think Cantaloupeme may have convinced himself that he's missing a spot on the overworld just because of all the ladder blocks in 6, but I do think between the runners they both covered them all, so we'll see how long it takes him to decide to go back that direction.
No, I agree with you on this. It definitely feels like either something got mismarked on a tracker, or we've definitely convinced ourselves that we've missed something that we may not have.
In theory, it's also possible that he has mismarked or forgotten where level 6 is. It's not too far away from where he is now, and he does have some of these overworld spots not checked yet, so it is actually maybe a situation where he hasn't forgotten anything, is simply covering the last of the spots he hadn't checked.
We're getting a nice HUD clip here, though.
The P-Hats are a custom sprite. Again, I think he's borrowed some of the sprites out of Dragon Dark's set of sprites. So just a little change that he's made.
Oh, you get to see level 9's map. Very left-sided 9.
Given the size of this 8, it's not a huge shock to me that the level 9's got a decent chunk missing. 6 is actually not terrible, all things
And we've
considered.
seen quite a bit of it, so yeah, we'll see what was the holdup in here.
I'm like 99% certain the holdup for Cantaloupeme in here was key doors. Came in here with 0 keys, left with 1 or 2 keys, trying to conserve and go to smaller dungeons at that time.
No, absolutely. Actually, I think he found the key, and once he got an actual key, jumped to 1.
Question is, which progression item will be in here? I think the odds-on favorite, just because of the spots it opens, has to be the flute. But you could make the case that it could be the ladder or the raft, as both will open 2 overworld spots for progression. And in that case, if it's a ladder in here, I think it's more likely that the White Sword Cave is blocked up. Just because that could easily send you into a situation where you get the White Sword Cave and it happens to be your recorder.
No, absolutely. I would, if I see the ladder here, I'm 100%. I know where the White Sword is, and I'm not thrilled about it.
Looks like Caleb's starting to figure out the route that he's going to be forced to take. It looks like it's a very, very linear setup in the 6. Despite the fact that it's a block, you do have to go, it appears, to the south. I think you have to be able to bomb somewhere to the left on this bottom side, like if you go across on the 2nd row, to be able to progress over to below where the triforce is. Triforce room itself is a double moat setup. And he got to the room below it, so there has to be a way back there. And now he's going to see that he has gone left through that key door, but he's not gone down. So, should know that he should go down at this point. And maybe to the left. Well, he's going to go up to the Triforce room again. Oh, there is a key door up here, but that takes you just to one room. Is that the room we need to go to? Nope. Another key door. Man, lots of keys to burn here. And a bait block. So now he looks really smart with that bait purchases. This could be the route to get that progression item.
It's not going to be, because the game's going to be just that kind of troll tonight.
Oh, I think it will.
C.
It's got the key that's going to spawn in the northeast corner if there's not Stalfos or something that can carry it, so this is the item.
And we have the raft.
So the raft is required in this seed because we've seen everything, pretty much, on the overworld that we can progress to. The question is, what will be on the raft spot? Will it be 3, 5, or the White Sword Cave, or 2 of them? Oh, hey!
Well, there's the White Sword item, and...
it's a boomerang.
The troll just continues.
Was that the level 4 second quest push block? That we just
I believe it
whiffed?
was. Yeah.
Now, Potato Pony has the best time in the game. We'll see if he puts that to use. Looks like he's probably going to decide to go to level 6 at this point.
And we've got level 5 hanging out on the eastmost raft spot. Very flat 5 here.
And I think for certain, Cantaloupe's going to dig out the item in here, especially if it's right here. You only have one other raft spot available to you, and he probably doesn't realize that he hasn't checked level 4 second quest's push block spot for the white sword. So
no, you absolutely dig the item out of here. It's a long walk to that other raft spot, and if it happens to be the recorder in here, it's a really long walk back up here too.
I feel like Potato Pony's explored just about the same setup as Cantaloupe Me did in this level 6. The problem, and maybe the key difference at this point, is I don't know that Potato Pony has bought the bait. In fact, he is not, based on his menu. And at 31 rupees, that means that we are going to have to see a little bit of farming unless we really get a lot of money drops in this level 6 without burning through our silvers.
Yeah, more importantly, it's going to be time loss here. It's going to cost the most. As we're going to have to go get the bait, come back, get the item, and then get to 5, and then find level 3, which is still somewhere. That compass is a, always a wonderful thing to find, even if you know where the triforce is. Lets you kind of navigate nice and easily, but it's always after the triforce.
Right, let's see if Potato Pony realizes that the staircase is the only way. And Cantaloupe clearly going back into level 5, knowing that the chances that the other dungeon he needs is on the other raft spot is fairly low.
We'll see if that white sword item weighs on his mind too, as I don't believe he saw it.
Yeah, we also have to figure out if we find the recorder in here and get access to the last dungeon, you have to make a decision at that point as to whether or not you want to try and complete the seed ladderless, or if you want to dig it out of the last dungeon at that point.
And with the map and 3 being one of those smaller dungeons, I think you just dig it out. It's not worth the risk at this point. But again, it's going to depend on how you feel.
In Cantaloupe's situation, would you dig out level 3 if you found like a second room Triforce, or would you go looking around the overworld for the White Sword Cave and see if you can't find the item in there instead?
I think it depends what you've got left on the overworld and where level 3 ends up being. If you've got a couple of open caves on your way to 9, I might go ahead and jump out and go look. But more importantly than anything, I'm going to get into 9 and explore, because if ladder's not required, that's time I don't have to waste. And if I find Zelda, Ganon, then I'm just done. So, if it's a 2-room Triforce, I get out.
Looks like we're about to the end of the rooms here in level 5. I think there's only, what, 3 left? They're all above here. So, a bomb in the tea room? Yep.
Always fun having to clear every room in the dungeon.
Probably doesn't feel great at an hour and 6 minutes having to last location the staircase in level 5. But what Cantaloupe doesn't know is that Potato Pony is going to have to choose another dungeon to either dig, such as level 8 since he hasn't seen the red candle, or it's going to have to money-making game / farm for some rupees, as the recorder is the item in level 5, so we'll see where level 3 is, and by process of elimination, we know that level 3 now has the ladder, and the wand and Lord Banana are in level 9.
Yeah, and to our discussion earlier at this point, with the recorder, I go 9. If I find Triforce 2, 3, 4 rooms into this 3, I'm out. I'm going to 9. I can always come back to 3 once I've guaranteed myself, yes, I need the ladder. Now the play is 100% to get to moving.
Yep. Question came up in chat as to whether or not ladder can be a 9. There are items that are considered important items, and with that important items flag on, you could, in theory, have them in level 9. However, with that flag being off for this flag set in this tournament, the ladder, the recorder, the raft, the bow, and the power bracelet cannot be in level 9, so that's why we can process of elimination our ladder into the last possible spot pre-9 for it to be. Looks like the crowd is already rooting for the other raft spot to be the other dungeon. We've got a decent chunk of recorder spots coming up here in the desert. We'll see if one of these just happens to be it first. I think eventually he'll find his way down there, because there is a flute spot in the or near Vanille's start, I guess.
I absolutely love the HUD scroll of that screen. Just, nope, not messing with it. Oh, and there we have it.
Yeah, we'll see how early the Triforce is in here. We'll see what decision Cantaloupeme makes. The shape is friendly enough where I could see digging it out. Could be deep in there, but it's all kind of a block, and you can kind of progress around it fairly quickly.
And with the resources, if you're coming in low keys, low bombs, yeah, you might save something. You might also be ladder blocked in here and need it to get the triforce still.
Yeah, that would be quite an interesting setup if this moat room that he's in right now, for example, had the triforce in the middle that's forcing him. And it looks like Potato Pony has realized that level 6 will be his progression at this point, and that he has to go farm a little bit of cash. I think 68 bucks was the cheap meat for the seed, so
I believe that's correct.
won't be a huge amount of farming, and I think we're about to find the ladder. No, there's a troll there, so there's a bomb wall that he didn't take in that circle moat room, and or I guess it might have been a shutter.
Yeah, that's not a room that you're happy to be stuck in pushing a block. You're very antsy. Get away from me, Bubbles! I want my item.
Looks like Potato Pony's heading to the nearest gambling game, which was on the coast.
This is definitely it's a doable room. It could be much worse, but that's an annoying room to have to kill and get to the next room.
No, we're 1 for 2 on the gambling. If we can get a second one, we've got it. Not quite. And unfortunately, we've lost a couple in a row here. It looks like the positive is not that great. I honestly think you'll find a screen on the overworld that has, again, some levers or some super ropes and just go farming them. But we do find the ladder in level 3 before the triforce, so it's kind of a moot point on the whole ladder discussion now.
No, absolutely. Yeah, no, I don't disagree. You go find something to farm here, and no, there's plus 26, so that'll do it. Or pretty close.
Yep, puts him to 77. I don't know what the more expensive bait was in the seed. I just kind of remember which one that Cantaloupe picked up.
Yeah, I don't remember off the top of my head.
The magical sword, I believe, was on the waterfall screen right below the vanilla white sword cave.
That is correct. That is where it is.
So at 113, it looks like we are going to have all 8 Triforce pieces on Calamy's side. I think he's going to be a little bit concerned with his situation right now. Just because at about 73, 74 minutes, it's very easy to see your opponent finishing in that amount of time.
No, absolutely. We'll see. We got a quick look at it. A very left-leaning level 9. So we'll see what kind of strats Cantaloupe wants to put in. Also, does not have a potion, so that could come into play here in a minute.
Looks like Calamy's going to try and use this HUD clip to get through some of these screens just a little bit quicker. Manages to pull it off. Get you a couple screens over to Vanilla 8, and then you can kind of exit the HUD and head towards the open cave over here, which is where 9 was. Potato Pony's now starting to see the solution. The question is, will level 9 troll Cantaloupe me enough to get him an opportunity to get back into level 9 before the game is over for Cantaloupe?
Well, we're going to start on the right side of this massive block, and our options are go up.
And you're going to see Cantaloupe burn through most of these rooms pretty quickly. No real reason to take any staircase at this point, because the only thing you're going to find in there of minor use is the wand. And at this point, it's not enough to go after.
We will probably see him kill rooms where he can, more than anything looking for a compass drop to help narrow down the number of rooms you really have to look through.
Looks like we'll get full coverage of this northeast corner. This might be a room that you clear, even though it's kind of annoying to clear, just because you're kind of at the end of your progression up in this corner, and you need somewhere else to go. And of course, it's the wand, so he nopes it as predicted. Really, you hate to see that item staircase as your first staircase in here, especially when you're trying to find your way towards Ganon or Zelda's room.
Isn't that how it always works, though? If you need the items, you're going to find every transport, and if you don't need the items, you're going to find them first.
Pretty much.
The game knows and it does not care about your feelings.
Well, if it really hates the runners, it's going to put the Zelda location in the 2 rooms off to the right of where you enter the dungeon and force you to magical staircase in.
That's always the best one. Love a magical staircase to Zelda.
Well, it's not going to be magical to Ganon. It sounds like we have a roar and we have 3 doors that you can potentially go in, so we'll see which door it is. It looks like left. I think Cantaloupeme gets to turn right around after taking down the pig here. And or going forward, so I suppose, as both those are shutter doors that could open to Zelda.
And we'll get a beautiful stun lock here on Ganon.
Yep, definitely a situation where vanilla play pays off a lot. You have to practice that a little bit on the Zelda game for vanilla.
And just to keep pretending to be Zelda in the next room, so we keep looking.
But not for long. Get your
Oh.
GGs out for Cantaloupeme. Looks like we're going to get a time right around 1:17:51 with a compass pickup.
And of course, Zelda guarding the compass, because, why wouldn't she?
So the match isn't over for Potato Pony just yet. We do have some tiebreaker scenarios that can come into play. So you'll want to try and get a time in there if you think you can get in there before, say, 1:38 or so.
No, absolutely.
And it sounds like we are joined by our race winner, Cantaloupeme. Congratulations, sir, on your victory.
Oh, thank you, thank you. And it's the classic way to end a Zelda 1 seed, having the compass right beside of Zelda.
Yep, so this was a fairly close race for quite some time. I think you may be able to guess what item gave you the decisive advantage towards getting into the last couple dungeons.
That had to be the bait.
Indeed, it looked like we had to go farm the money-making game on Potato Pony's side to get that bait so that he could go back into that dungeon after clearing out level 8's second item, which he had skipped.
Yeah, I just had a feeling while I was in there, and having played Zelda a bunch, it's like, with my luck, bait's going to block. And, because the past couple practices I have, it hasn't. I know every seed its own individual event, but, law of averages will catch up eventually. So I was like, yeah, let's just buy bait. It never hurts. I had the money. So yeah, that decision paid off a bit, thankfully. Wizards were a little nasty in the overworld, but other than that, it was pretty standard seed, nothing too crazy.
Yeah, we did have one question for you. Did you actually see the white sword item or no?
No, I did not. I didn't realize when I grabbed it, I didn't, well, it was a white sword, wasn't it? Oh no, I know what you're talking about, the cave. I'm almost sure that had to be a banana because I didn't see any bananas during the run.
So you are right. It was at second quest level 4. It was the blue boomerang. Potato did find that. It was one of those. We didn't have the information. Y'all didn't have the information, and we didn't know where the next progression item was.
Yeah, I didn't even second quest level 4. That's hold on. That's level 5 right before you go up the mountain, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, I totally forgot about that location. From not doing much second quest, I just totally forgot about that one. So yeah, I'm glad there was nothing important there because I totally marked that off my tracker like I didn't need it.
Yeah, it could have been the ladder potentially, but I actually don't know that you needed the ladder at any point in this seed to get through. Potentially level 3 just beyond where the ladder ended up being, but that's about it as far as ladder blocks go for me.
Yeah, I don't think it was required. It definitely sped some things up, or would have, but I don't think it was required at all. So, but I knew the ladder. If it wasn't in level 3, I was like, well, it's a white sword item, and I don't think I would have went and looked for it at that time if I didn't find it.
Yeah, we were kind of hoping that level 3 would be the instant triforce just to see what sort of decision making would happen, both on your side and Potato Pony's, as he'll eventually find it.
Yeah, I would have still dug level 3 just in case, but once I knew what the item was, whether it was going to be a banana or ladder, because I didn't even think about the white sword item in my head. I'm thinking this has to be ladder, because it's I just didn't worry about the white sword item at all. Because I saw the master sword, but of course, or a magical sword, but I didn't have a reason to go back for it because I think I only had 9 hearts or something.
Yeah, we saw a little look of annoyance when you got into level 9, got up into that northeast corner, you're trying to take the staircase and get somewhere else in the dungeon. Of course, it's the other combat item that you could have gotten in the seed in level 9. Just like, man, come on, I want to get out of this corner. Don't leave me here.
Yeah, I didn't need the wand at that point because I already had the white sword and silver arrows, so it wouldn't have helped at all.
Absolutely. Take care of a little bit of housekeeping right now. For those looking for more races here in just a little bit, we've got Bogey versus Raikou Rider going on SpeedGaming 4. And then we do have 2 more races going on tonight. No restream channel set. Not sure if we will actually have a restream, but we've got Big Slammy versus Truant Gamer and Sausage Link versus myself here a little bit at 11:15 Eastern. Plenty of races to watch. So if you're looking for Zelda 1 randomizer races, SpeedGaming is definitely the site to be looking for through the SpeedGaming Live tournament.
Yeah, Fury, I think you should roll Dave Seed.
Oh, he's not. He's retired, man.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, we'll see what kind of seeds get rolled tonight. This one was kind of interesting. It wasn't severe after you kind of got off the overworld screens, just because the only thing left to really beat you up in the dungeons was Lionel's Fire and Beams and the Dark Nuts. But yeah, it definitely trolled in terms of the blockages, because it gave you, I think, the raft spot, the flute spot, and the bait block.
Yep, all of them, and I'm glad a couple practice seeds of this flag set, just so I would have known there was, for one of the requirements is there's always something important blocked by, one of those situations. So I just, that knowledge helped out a bit with it. But yeah, it's Zelda 1, it's, seeds for me to go really well, they need to be pretty combat based and not really routing based, because I'm not good at routing, but, I do have decent combat. So, that's definitely this seed played out to my strength on that.
Absolutely. Potato does find the Triforce in level 3. Should be headed to level 9 here. But yeah, no, the biggest troll I think out of the seed was that it gave you the power bracelet first.
Mm-hmm.
There was absolutely nothing behind it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was like... Go ahead.
It looks like we're going to get a little bit of confirmation as to whether or not the ladder is actually required. Looks like Potato Pony is going to take the gamble, which I think is smart given that the time is the tiebreaker in this, and if you kind of finish, I think it's like 30 minutes after, it's no longer relevant, but if you can get in within the next 3 or 4 minutes by clearing through level 9 without a ladder, it pays off.
No, absolutely. And you always have to give yourself a chance. We have always told runners in tournaments, finish your race, get the experience. Fight Ganon, clear it out. It may take you 30 minutes, but go get that experience, and it helps down the road.
Exactly, and with only one person from each group advancing, you definitely want to try to finish every race you can in this, for sure, because you just never know what's going to happen, and the way some of these groups are stacked out, it's going to be hard for one person to go undefeated in these groups.
And speaking of stacked out groups, your group's not an easy one. You've got Antlers and Jay Cope are also lurking in the this pool. How do you feel about going head to head versus these two?
Well, two people I've played against before and respect very well the community as well as Pony. It was definitely a pleasure to race Potato Pony as well. Don't want to leave him out of it, but yeah,
no,
it was,
absolutely.
Yeah, but with those two, I know they do a lot more rando than I do, so it's going to be a tough fight, especially. Either one of them. Jay Cooper's a long-time veteran in the game, and then Fury is. I think has done second quest damage list, has second quest low record, so Fury definitely knows this game in and out, and it's, both those matches are going to be very difficult. They're not going to be cakewalks. None matches in the SGLIVE tournament are cakewalks anyway, but it's going to be definitely pretty difficult, and I got to be on my A game.
Yep, Antlers has taken a little bit of a break from the game, but he has come back and done some practice and some Nerd Crew races, which is one of the other smaller tournaments that we have going on in our community. Potato Pony has found Ganon, so I think this is going to be wrapped up within the next 30 seconds or so.
Yep, did Potato clear out the room before Ganon to let him know it's where Zelda was?
No.
Nope. But if he goes left and backs up 2 rooms like you did before, I think he will find his way there. And he is backing up after going forward, so I think the chances are pretty good now.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's exactly what I did. I was like, nope, there's that single shutter door. You gotta check that one.
Yep, and get your GGs out from Potato Pony has found the compass at a time of roughly 1:28:08.
The compass. I chuckled pretty good at that one. That's just a classic. You don't see it too often, but when it happens, it's great. Especially on the trolley level 9, that's when it's even better.
The best ones when you also get the hint, Zelda guards the compass, and you're like, okay, thanks, game. You're really not helping me tonight.
No, not at all. And then Zelda's in that one-way staircase room at the top left-hand corner that you need 3 staircases to access, and it's the bombable wall, and you're usually out of bombs by that point, so yeah.
Speaking of trolley ones, I think my favorite situation in the game is when you enter an old man room, there's a shutter door that's not opening, and it says the kidnapped is in this quadrant. Like, thanks a lot.
You don't say.
I did like the one, robber old man that gave me the choice, and it was a whole room I bombed in. It's like, take your money, let's take your life for bombs. I'm like, I don't think so. I'm just going to walk back out this door. Yeah, I tried to seed right before this, and I was at the 2-hour mark before I had to get ready for this race, and I didn't even finish it, and I was like, geez, I'm a little worried, but thankfully, just hindsight to always buy the bait. Remember that, everybody. If you're in this tournament, and buy the bait, because the one time you don't be the time it gets you.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we don't have the official times, but I'm assuming it's roughly about a 10-minute difference. I don't know that the bait really paid enough, or made enough of a difference to completely blow the seed wide open, but it definitely cost Potato Pony a good 4 or 5 minutes of going out farming a little bit. buying the bait and then going back in.
Yeah, I got the times right here is 1:17:51 to 1:28:20. So 10:31. If I'm doing my math right.
Sounds about right. So it probably would have cut about 4, maybe 5 minutes out. I think the other thing that just got you ahead a little bit is there was a little bit of an issue with that bow room in level 1 early on low health, and not a lot of friendly spawn patterns in that room for Potato Pony.
No. That was a pretty funky room. There was a couple little, like that one room in level 3 where I died with the traps and not having the ladder yet. There's a couple of those rooms like that. Those traps are just so mean when you only can walk on the outside room. And then red bubbles, playing a role in this flag set, and red bubbles are not the kindest.
Yeah, that was something we were concerned what we were going to see is, red bubbles leading into Ganon. I don't know that we ever saw the potion price.
No, I got the thing, but I never turned it in because at the time I didn't really have the money to worry about it.
Yeah, I think we had a red potion get and then take anyone from Potato Pony, but we never saw the potion price. And speaking of Potato Pony, we have our second place finisher in the seed. Kind of a fun seed. Unfortunately, a little bit of a bait block issue on your side kind of cost you a little bit of time there.
Yeah, I think GG cantaloupeme. Thanks for the race.
Very welcome.
Yeah, the bait block was the curve, but I think I was off the rails pretty early on with a few of the overworld deaths and then the shenanigans with the blue Lionels in one. I felt like I sort of righted things for a while, but that cost me a bunch of time early on, and then the bait block was the cherry on top.
Yeah, there's a couple of things we did allude to the Lionel room when we were talking to Cantaloupe while waiting for you to kind of get through level 9 there, ladderless I might add, so we can confirm it was a ladderless seed. I do think the double dip of level 8's probably the only other thing I can think of that kind of hurts you a little bit. I think Cantaloupe found both Red Candle and Red Ring first trip through. It had us tripped up because we hadn't realized that level 6 wasn't ladder blocked at that point. We thought it was potentially.
Yeah, when I hit the bait block in 6, I thought about just going to get the cash then, but since I didn't have the cash, I was like, may as well go check the second item in 8. I got a bunch of cash off the Cole's voice there, so that it wasn't as bad to get to raise the rest of the money, but that did cost a bunch of time.
I did have a weird thing in level 2 when I went in. I had like 30 rupees and the bomb upgrade was like 84. So I just started killing everything on my way through. And by the time I got to Triforce, I had 85 rupees.
I think I had almost the opposite experience. I was, I don't know, maybe a third of the way through and I had 240 rupees and the blue ring was 241. And I died enough on the overworld as like, I could use this. I hadn't dug 8 yet and found the red ring. And I must have killed like 4 or 5 screens worth of like Octoroks before I finally got one to drop a rupee so I could pick up the blue ring.
Yep. So I think the lack of the ladder pickup at the very end did save you a little bit of time, and it could turn out to be important, as this is a really, really, really tough group to get through. I don't know that any of the 4 of you are going to be able to get through this without losing a match, so it could come out to a situation where we have several people that are 2-1, or just to a point where we might see a tiebreaker come into play. So you definitely saved yourself at least a good 45 seconds to a minute there. We'll see if that ends up helping you out.
Take credit for it. When I picked up the Triforce in 3, I immediately started saying, "Oh, I probably should have searched a little bit more for a ladder. I'm totally going to get stuck now." But then was glad that the path through 9, at least the path I ended up on, turned out to be pretty straightforward. I was so frustrated that the overworld block wasn't the power bracelet. Like, you get the power bracelet right away, push all those blocks and nothing.
Yep.
Oh man.
But yeah, definitely thank you for the race, and hopefully, I know only one of us can make it out of the group, but hopefully, somewhere down the road we race again.
It was a privilege to race you, cantaloupeme, and good luck to you in your other matches as well, GG.
No, you too, my friend.
All right, with that, we have a couple more events going on the Speed Gaming Channel networks. We have a couple of A Link to the Past Randomizer League Invitational matches going on. I believe that's on, let's see, 3 and 5, maybe wrapping up there. We have a Zelda 1 Randomizer race going on now on Speed Gaming 4. We have a Final Fantasy Randomizer Speed Gaming Live qualifier starting up on the Prime channel in just a couple of minutes. There may be some more late night action as there's a couple more yet to be determined if we can find coverage for them channels to be determined, as I just said. But yeah, pretty stacked schedule for the day, and it's not over yet.
Definitely, and what a way to kind of kick off these opening races. Nice nail biter. And any final thoughts, Fury, on this seed or this tournament?
Not really. I mean, this seed just kind of gives you an example of how all the preconceptions about a flag set can kind of go out the window, because a lot of times level 9 ends up being the great equalizer and a super troll, given the most recent iteration of 9s have all been kind of weird, no bomb wall, all transport staircase scenarios. In this one, you got a bomb wall or two, and it was instant Ganon Zelda after that, so it was free. And we don't see a lot of bait blocks in shapes, but in this seed it happened to work, so you can go in thinking one thing, and the seed will throw you something else, so you can never sit there and just expect it to go the way you expect it to go.
No, absolutely. I do think that's going to wrap it up for the two of us tonight. And all the other action, all week. You got the Speed Gaming Live events going on. Follow the links in chat to keep track of the schedule and everything. I want to thank JLo7 for pushing the buttons and making sure we knew where items were. And thank both of our racers for putting on a fantastic show. So for Fury and myself and Racer, have a good night.